Welcome, friend. I'm James, your host, and today, we're diving into another captivating episode. Grab a drink, get comfortable, and get ready for a powerful story that's sure to resonate. If something hits home, share your thoughts in the comments. Let's dive in. What would you do? Cheating? Lying? Manipulation? Hello, Reddit. I'm stepping into the wild world of posting for the first time because I need some outside perspectives on this chaotic mess that's become my life. What started as a simple online friendship has spiraled into a full-blown emotional roller coaster, and I find myself completely overwhelmed by the twists and turns of it all. Let me set the scene. I, 26, F, have been friends with M, 21, F, and her fiancé S, 21, M, for about a year. Our friendship blossomed online, fueled by late-night gaming sessions and endless meme exchanges. We would stay up until the early hours, laughing and sharing stories, forming a bond that felt almost familial. It was one of those friendships that seemed to flourish in the cozy glow of computer screens and laughter, where our lives intertwined through shared experiences and dreams. We've never met in person, but the connection felt real, almost like a slice of my life was intertwined with theirs. A few months ago, they packed their bags and moved from their home state to Canada, desperate for a fresh start and the support of S's aunt, who opened her home to them. I thought this was a turning point for them, a chance for new beginnings, but little did I know, I was stepping into a ticking time bomb that would soon shatter everything I believed about their relationship. One fateful day, my phone buzzed with a DM from S that sent chills down my spine. M is cheating on me, he wrote, his words dripping with betrayal. It felt as if the air had been sucked out of my lungs, leaving me gasping for breath. My heart raced and my stomach dropped. How could this be happening? She was seeing a guy named X, 21, M, someone she met through an online game. X lived back in the state they had just left, which felt like a slap in the face. How could M betray S so easily after all they had been through together? I could practically feel the anguish radiating from S's message, and it made me question everything. I thought I knew about their relationship. S was heartbroken and angry, saying he could no longer stand to be around M. His mother swooped in like a hawk, driving up to Canada to bring him home. I could only imagine the tension in that car, the unspoken words hanging in the air as they made the long drive, leaving M to fend for herself in a place that was supposed to be a new beginning. The scene felt heavy, laden with hurt and unresolved emotions, as I wondered what M was feeling in that moment, whether she felt remorse or if she was simply caught up in her own whirlwind of excitement with X. M stayed with S and his mother for a brief period until the truth emerged. S's mom had a hard talk with M, and when she realized the depth of the betrayal, she issued a fierce ultimatum: either break things off with X or get out of the house. Picture the tension in that living room, the air thick with resentment and shattered trust. The weight of the confrontation hung heavily, with words unspoken swirling in the air like a storm about to break. M, feeling cornered and desperate, allegedly made a dramatic escape to the beach. Because what says I'm in crisis better than contemplating life choices on a sandy shore, right? I envisioned her standing at the edge of the ocean, waves crashing around her as she tried to process the chaos she had created. Was she regretting her decisions or plotting her next move? The uncertainty made my stomach churn. According to M, she was merely trying to get her belongings back when S and his mother threw her stuff out of a car window like they were tossing out the trash. They GPS'd the location for her, which honestly sounded like something straight out of a reality TV show. I could hardly believe it, but she insisted that X came to her rescue, whisking her away to his parents' house, where she claimed they were treating her like royalty. The scene felt surreal, like something out of a dramatic movie, where the protagonist's life takes a swift turn from turmoil to unexpected romance, but in reality, it was just a desperate escape from the wreckage of her choices. After a week of radio silence, M finally spilled her side of the story. She claimed that she and S had actually broken up long before the move, alleging he was obsessed with her and had even raised a hand to her in anger. The way she spoke was almost theatrical, every word dripping with dramatic flair. She painted S as the villain, a man whose possessiveness drove her to the arms of another. The narrative was compelling, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something felt off. It was like she was trying to rewrite the script of their relationship to paint herself as the victim. I found myself wrestling with doubt, wondering how much of what she said was the truth and how much was a carefully crafted narrative to win sympathy and support. Was this just a play for my attention and support, or was there a kernel of truth hidden beneath the layers of deceit? I felt torn, like I was standing on a precipice, unsure of whether to leap into the abyss or hold back and seek clarity. Each detail she shared was laced with emotional intensity, making it difficult for me to discern where the truth ended and the fiction began. Enter T, 23, F, M's sister, who lived with them for a while and knew all the dirty details. She chimed in with a bombshell, calling M a pathological liar and a narcissist. T claimed M was spinning tales to manipulate everyone, even going so far as to lie about staying at a hotel just to squeeze money from the family. My heart sank as I absorbed her words, the betrayal twisting deeper than I thought possible. It felt like a dagger to my gut, realizing that the friend I had been supporting might not be who I thought she was. My mind raced with the implications. Had I been blind to the truth this entire time? The thought sent a chill down my spine. I felt like I was caught in the eye of a hurricane, unsure of which way to turn. T's testimony added fuel to the fire, and I knew I had to tread carefully. If M was indeed lying, I didn't want to be part of her charade any longer. But the thought of cutting ties with someone I considered a friend felt heavy, like a weight pressing down on my chest. The dilemma gnawed at me. Should I take a stand for what I believed, or should I remain loyal to M, despite the whispers of doubt in my ear? After hearing T's warning, I was done. I blocked and banned M from every platform. It felt like cutting a toxic vine from my life, a necessary but painful decision. I thought I could finally escape this toxic web of lies and betrayal. The relief was short-lived, though, as I soon found myself glancing at my phone, half expecting a desperate message or a heartfelt apology from M. But nothing came. Just when I thought the storm had passed, the universe had other plans. The drama wasn't over, it was just heating up. I was bracing myself for the fallout when fate intervened in the strangest way, throwing me into a tangled web of intrigue that I had never anticipated. Fast forward to today. I was going about my life, blissfully unaware of the chaos brewing, when I received a random friend request on Discord. No mutual friends, no servers in common. I ignored it, thinking it was just another spam account. A few hours later, I got a message request from this person, and wouldn't you know it, we suddenly had one mutual server. Let's call this person L. L sent me screenshots of a supposed conversation between them and S, where S was trash-talking everyone and claiming he had lied to us all as a form of revenge for M finding a new guy. My jaw dropped. It felt like I was watching a twisted drama unfold right before my eyes, the kind that should come with popcorn and a front row seat. My heart raced as I processed the implications of what L was sharing. The revelations rolled in like waves, one after another, leaving me reeling. I couldn't believe that S, the guy I had thought was a victim, was now being portrayed as a puppet master pulling strings from behind the curtain. Was he truly seeking revenge, or was this a calculated move by M to shift the blame onto him? The uncertainty gnawed at my mind, and I felt the weight of this chaotic reality pressing down on me. My friend quickly turned into a detective, digging into the details. Here's what we pieced together. L had no way of knowing the ins and outs of this drama unless they were somehow connected to M. When confronted, L claimed that a mutual friend, A, had spilled the tea. Confused, I reached out to A, and he had no idea what was going on. S, for his part, provided screen recordings showing he had never had any conversations with L. Now we were knee-deep in suspicion, wondering if M was orchestrating this chaos from behind the curtain, desperate for attention and validation. The more I uncovered, the more tangled the web seemed, and I found myself questioning not only M's actions, but also the integrity of everyone involved. Each twist felt like another layer of deceit, and I couldn't shake the feeling that I was caught in a game I didn't sign up for. My thoughts spiraled into a whirlwind of paranoia as I contemplated the potential fallout of this tangled web of lies. It was like trying to solve a puzzle where each piece seemed to lead me in a different direction, leaving me more confused than before. So, here I am, feeling like I'm stuck in a Shakespearean tragedy with no clear path forward. Should I confront M again? Should I ignore this entire circus and move on with my life? Dive deeper into this mess? My head is spinning, and I could really use some advice from you all. The weight of the uncertainty presses down on me, and I find myself questioning everything, not just about M and S, but about the nature of friendships and trust. The thought of reaching out to M crossed my mind repeatedly. Part of me wondered if I should offer her a chance to explain herself. After all, our friendship had felt genuine, built on shared laughter and late-night conversations. But then I remembered T's words, echoing in my mind like a warning bell: she's a pathological liar. The very idea of reopening that door felt risky, like tempting fate. If M was indeed manipulating the narrative, then what good would come from engaging with her again? I thought about the screenshots Elle had sent me. They were damning and raised countless questions about S's integrity. If he was indeed lying, what else had he twisted to fit his narrative? Could he have been playing the victim all along, trying to frame M in a negative light while obscuring his own shortcomings? I couldn't help but think that perhaps both of them were guilty of some form of manipulation, caught in a toxic cycle of blame and deceit. The situation was spiraling out of control, and I was left standing in the middle, unsure of who to trust. As I pondered my next steps, I turned to my friends for support. I shared the unfolding drama with a small circle, and their reactions ranged from disbelief to outright anger. One friend urged me to reach out to M directly, to confront her about the lies and seek the truth. "You need to hold her accountable," she insisted. "If she's playing games, she deserves to be called out." But another friend warned me to tread lightly. "It sounds like a mess. You could get dragged into something you don't want to be part of. Just stay out of it and let them sort their drama." The conflicting opinions made my head spin even more. It was like trying to navigate a minefield, with each step potentially leading to disaster. Part of me yearned for resolution, to understand what really happened between M and S, while another part of me wanted to run far away from this entire saga and protect myself from the fallout. I felt trapped in a labyrinth of emotions, unsure of the right path to take. Then came the night that changed everything. I was lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, my thoughts racing a mile a minute, when my phone buzzed. A notification lit up the screen, and it was a message from M. My heart raced as I clicked it open, half expecting an apology or a plea for understanding. Instead, I found a barrage of emotions laid bare in her words. She claimed she was sorry for everything that had happened and that she had been living in hell since they moved back to their home state. M insisted that S had manipulated her feelings, painting a picture of a woman trapped in a toxic relationship. He was controlling and would twist everything I said, she wrote. I never meant to hurt him, I was just trying to find my way. Her message was a roller coaster of emotions, filled with both desperation and defiance. Part of me wanted to believe her, the compassion I had for her as a friend bubbled to the surface. But another part was skeptical, recalling all the red flags that had been raised. Why was she reaching out to me now, after everything that had happened? Was this a genuine cry for help, or just another attempt to manipulate the narrative in her favor? The line between friend and foe was becoming increasingly blurred. I took a deep breath and decided to respond, carefully crafting my message to express both my concern and my skepticism. M, I appreciate your message, but there are a lot of things that don't add up. I need to understand more about what happened between you and S. This whole situation is incredibly complicated, and I want to make sure I have the full picture before I jump to conclusions. After hitting send, I felt a rush of anxiety. Would she lash out, or would she open up further? The minutes stretched into what felt like hours as I waited for her response, my mind racing with possibilities. I thought about the friendship we had built and how quickly it had unraveled. Could we salvage it? Or was it too far gone? Finally, her reply came through. I understand your doubts. I'll tell you everything if you promise to keep an open mind, she said. The words felt both like an invitation and a warning. Did I really want to step back into her world of chaos? Was I prepared for the truth, whatever it might be? I felt like I was on the brink of something big, like a storm gathering on the horizon, ready to break loose at any moment. With a mixture of dread and anticipation, I agreed to meet her in a private chat room where we could talk without distractions. As I waited for her to join, I felt a rush of conflicting emotions, fear, curiosity, and a glimmer of hope that perhaps this conversation could lead to some semblance of clarity in this twisted narrative. When Em finally logged in, the tone was tense. She started by recapping her version of events, delving deep into her emotional turmoil and her feelings of entrapment with S. He was always so jealous, always accusing me of things that weren't true, she said, her voice wavering as she recounted her experiences. I thought I could handle it, but it just became suffocating. As she spoke, I listened intently, feeling the weight of her words. She painted a picture of a young woman torn between love and self-preservation, trying to escape a relationship that felt more like a prison. But as her story unfolded, I couldn't shake the nagging feeling that there were gaps in her narrative, inconsistencies that didn't quite fit. Em claimed that after she moved back to the state, she felt lost and alone. She talked about her burgeoning friendship with X, who was there for her during a vulnerable time. X was someone who made me feel seen and valued, she said, her tone shifting from defensive to almost nostalgic. I could hear the longing in her voice, a desire to reclaim a part of herself she felt had been lost in the tumult of her relationship with S. But then, as if sensing my skepticism, she paused. I know it looks bad, and I don't expect you to take my side. But I promise I didn't intend for things to end up this way. I was just trying to figure myself out. Her vulnerability cut through the tension in the chat, and for a brief moment, I felt a flicker of empathy for her plight. Still, I pressed her for more details about her relationship with S. What led you to cheat? What was the tipping point? I typed, my heart pounding. I needed to understand how someone could cross that line and betray someone who had once been their partner. Em hesitated, and I could almost feel her mind racing as she searched for the right words. It wasn't just one thing, she finally replied. It was a series of moments where I felt dismissed and invalidated. I never wanted to hurt S, but I felt like I was suffocating under the weight of his expectations. As she shared her thoughts, I couldn't help but think back to T's warnings. Was this just another performance, another act in a long line of deception? The more I listened, the more I found myself torn between believing her and feeling a deep sense of betrayal. Her words echoed in my mind, and I struggled to reconcile the Em I thought I knew with the person she was describing. As the conversation continued, I felt an overwhelming urge to seek the truth. Em, I care about you, but I can't ignore the doubts I have, I typed cautiously. What about the accusations T made? If you've lied to your family and friends, how can I trust you now? There was a long pause before she responded. I understand why you're skeptical. I've made mistakes, but I'm trying to be honest now. It's just, everything has been so overwhelming. Her voice cracked, and I sensed genuine emotion behind her words. It was a glimpse of vulnerability I hadn't seen before, and it made me wonder if there was still hope for redemption in her narrative. As we continued to talk, I found myself at a crossroads. I could see the pain in her eyes, the emotional turmoil that had led her to this point. But I also felt the weight of the betrayal she had inflicted on S. The more we talked, the more I began to realize that perhaps neither M nor S was wholly innocent in this twisted drama. They were both flawed individuals trying to navigate their emotions, caught in a cycle of pain and blame. Eventually, our conversation drifted towards the topic of S. M's tone shifted from regret to bitterness as she spoke of him. He was never there for me when I needed him. It was like he only cared about how things looked on the outside. I felt trapped, and X was an escape. Her words dripped with resentment, and I could hear the anger simmering beneath her surface. That was my breaking point. But M, you still cheated. You betrayed someone who cared for you. Can't you see how that complicates everything? I typed, my heart racing as I faced the emotional whirlwind head on.